I'm going to be talking about vaccines and vaccine hesitancy. I'm going to be going over what vaccines are, the history of vaccines, and what exactly vaccine hesitancy is and its consequences. So why vaccines? I picked vaccines because of the sudden vaccine hesitancy that I have noticed in the last decade. With the recent coronavirus vaccine in the news, it is important to talk about why many people seem to be hesitant to vaccinate themselves and their children, when previously vaccines were opened with welcome arms. What are vaccines? The World Health Organization estimates that vaccines prevent between 2 million and 3 million deaths from infectious diseases every year. Vaccines are life-saving preventions against diseases. A vaccine stimulates your immune system to produce antibodies, exactly like it would if you were exposed to the disease. After getting vaccinated, you develop immunity to that disease without having to get the disease first. The history of vaccines. Vaccines were created in the late 1790s by Edward Jenner as an effort to cure the smallpox outbreak. Vaccines since then have been developed in order to eradicate diseases such as the measles, polio, the flu, hepatitis, etc. New discoveries in vaccine technology using mRNA vaccines, such as the one in the COVID vaccine recently. Vaccines recently in the last decade or two have become a source of massive controversy and fear. Vaccine hesitancy. So what exactly is vaccine hesitancy? Vaccine hesitation refers to a delay in acceptance or refusal of vaccines, as well as agreement despite doubt and reluctance. We can trace vaccine hesitancy to 1998 when Andrew Wakefield, a physician, and 12 of his colleagues published an article in The Lancet that claimed that there was a correlation between the MMR vaccine and autism in children. Previously, before the publication went out, there was a small majority of groups who were weary of vaccinating themselves and their children, mainly in the 70s and 80s in small towns in Europe. But with this new paper, anti-vax groups now exploded in popularity. Following the paper's publication, Andrew Wakefield skyrocketed into popularity both due to praise from anti-vax groups and backlash from the scientific community. The effects of the paper that was published in The Lancet has been found that vaccination rates actually declined and outbreaks of diseases that were previously thought eradicated in the United States returned at a very alarming rate. For instance, according to Vascular Health Clinics, 147 people were estimated to have contracted measles, and it was thought that those particular cases began in Anaheim, California at Disneyland Resort. According to NIH, it was estimated that the MMR vaccine rate among those who came down with measles in that outbreak was less than 50%. So the consequences. With an increase in vaccine hesitancy caused by Andrew Wakefield and his fellow physicians, it has been harder to get more people to get themselves and their children vaccinated. Diseases that were previously thought to be eradicated have been coming back at an alarming rate. With new pandemic, there has been misinformation and fear being spread. So instead of in previous years, vaccines being welcomed, with new developing vaccines, people are more afraid and more hesitant, especially since people felt that this vaccine was developed really quickly and seemingly without testing. But studies have shown that there have been numerous tests on this vaccine and it is safe and effective. With the rise in popularity of social media, it has been easier than ever to get misinformation out there, and so it is leading a lot of people to have doubt in the government and their own healthcare providers, which is really detrimental to the health of everyone, in the world. And this is my bibliography with all of my sources.